We're excited today to have a chance to talk with a real-life astronaut, Mike Massimino. Thanks for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I hear that you're working on a big project with the Discovery Channel about a space flight that's taking place. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah. So it's a live launch event for, as you said, with Discovery Channel. I'll be a part of the team covering it, adding whatever I can to the broadcast. It's this Wednesday is the launch day and the broadcast day. The launch is around 4:20 Eastern time in the afternoon, but we're going on the air at 2 o'clock. So the launch special starts at 2 o'clock live, 2 o'clock Eastern on Discovery and on the Science channels. And we're going to have some special guests like Katy Perry and my friend Adam Savage from Mythbusters and other guests popping in from time to time. But we're also going to be covering the backstory, some of the exclusive footage that Discovery Channel has gotten over the past year or so following this story. So a lot of the backstory to what we're going to see on Wednesday in the launch at launch time is a great story of how this relationship between SpaceX and NASA and the use of private rockets to send astronauts to space, how that went from a dream to reality. We're going to be covering that. So
now this is going to be the first time that NASA astronauts have taken off in a private venture. I know they've gone off in the Russian spaceships before, but it's the first time a private U.S. company is sailing up into space. Is that correct?
That's correct. This spacecraft was developed with the help of NASA. NASA provided requirements and some guidance from their experience. But this spacecraft was developed and built and will be operated and launched by SpaceX, and NASA will be paying for that service. So that's the first time anything like that has been done. And I think it marks a new era in space exploration where it's not just governments who can launch people into space, it's also private companies.
Now, the astronauts going up, though, they're actually NASA astronauts. They're not going to be private employees of SpaceX.
That's right. They are NASA astronauts. Both of them got two friends of mine, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken. I worked with them for a long time when I was at NASA, and I've known them for over 20 years, both of those guys. So I'm really excited for them. Boeing is also part of that. They're not launching on Wednesday, but they've also developed a spaceship that could be used, a private spaceship that can be used to go to the space station. They're a little bit further to go before they're ready to launch people, but they will have one of their employees who happens to be a former astronaut, Chris Ferguson, is going to be on that flight. So it's a little bit different. SpaceX is kind of letting NASA fly the vehicle, whereas Boeing, at least for that first flight, the test flight, will be providing one of their employees to do it.
And my wife had a question for me to ask you. She is a big George Clooney fan, and you've gone up into space and done some spacewalks. She wanted to know if it's true if you were the inspiration for his character in Gravity.
Yeah, I really don't know. That was an ABC News report. Kind of started that rumor, and I have done nothing to prevent it. I think the closest thing is I did meet the director for that film. I did some promotion. I was not involved with the film while it was being. NASA wasn't either, believe it or not. But we did get involved with helping to promote the film because it was a space-related movie. And the director did tell me that he did listen to some of our tapes. I was involved with a film called Hubble 3D, which was a documentary film that we helped film in IMAX in space, partly on my final mission. And that was a Warner Brothers film, as was Gravity. So I think they looked at that. So it was really the visuals. And they start out at the Hubble Space Telescope in that movie, and there's the accuracy of what it looked like was amazing, down to the serial numbers on our power tools were the same. And so the director did say he listened to my tapes and watched our spacewalks, and maybe he got some ideas from it that way. But I find that to be very complimentary. I think George Clooney's a cool guy and made a cool astronaut, so I'm not going to do anything to dispel that rumor.
My son, aspiring astronaut here, had a few questions we wanted to throw your way here now.
Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Where
do you live?
All right, cool.
So, Jack, go ahead.
What did you study in space?
What did I study in space? My job in space was to primarily be a spacewalker, which meant I needed to do a lot of studying to go to space. First, I went to a lot of school. So I mean, I went to elementary school and high school and college and graduate school, and then I had various jobs. And when I was accepted as an astronaut, I kind of went back to school. I went to astronaut school because I had to learn a lot of things to become an astronaut. And some of those things I put into action. I got to work the robot arm on the space shuttle. I got to work some of the systems on the space shuttle. And my primary job was to help take care of our spacesuits and to participate in our spacewalks. So that's what I did. So my primary job in space was to spacewalk and be a repair person to work on the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah, no, okay.
Were you nervous as you left the atmosphere?
Was I nervous when I left the atmosphere? Yeah, it's pretty scary, and there's a lot going on that you can be concerned about. You want to make sure you're prepared and ready to go, and you have a lot of responsibility. So I was a bit nervous, sure, yeah. But I think being nervous is okay. I think when you're nervous about something, it just shows that you care. If you're not nervous about something you're doing, if you're playing a sport or playing an instrument or taking a test or whatever, sometimes being a little nervous is okay. Whenever I get nervous, I realize that just means that it's important to me, and I try to prepare as best I can. But I think being nervous isn't necessarily a bad thing. As long as it doesn't hurt you, you don't want to be so nervous you can't do your job. But I think being a little nervous sometimes just tells you, this is kind of important. Let me try to do the best I can.
How much stuff did you miss, going walking, or going running, or and that stuff? Yeah.
Well, we did exercise when we were in space. We had a bicycle, an exercise bike to ride on the space shuttle. My friends who go to the space station, they're able to run on a treadmill, so they can do that. But you can't go outside. You're right. There's no weather. There's certainly plenty of sunshine because the sun is on you for about half the time that you're up there as you orbit around the planet. But you don't get any rain or anything like that. No weather like that. I miss some of the things, some of them things I miss now while we're doing this sheltering in place. I miss baseball, and I miss my family, and so those are some of the things that I miss while I was in space.
You have any other questions?
I miss pizza. We didn't have any pizza.
Yeah.
What did you eat?
There you go. I didn't eat pizza, unfortunately, but I ordered a pizza from space on our landing day. I put in my order for the pizza.
All right.
Didn't want to miss out on it. As soon as I got back on Earth, I ate pizza. But the food's pretty good. Did you ever try the astronaut ice cream? Have you ever tried that? Yeah, I don't recommend it. We don't eat that stuff. That's just they sell that in museums and stuff.
Did you drink any Tang?
Well, Tang is we have a drink. All of our drinks in space are powdered drinks. Either you can drink regular water. We don't have any carbonation, but we do have powdered drinks. You can have orange flavored drink is what it's called, but the actual powder inside of there is Tang. But I also I enjoyed lasagna and shrimp cocktail and macaroni and cheese, steak, hamburger, eggs, granola, yogurt. We had cookies, brownies, chocolate fudge cake. So the food was prepared by some very caring individuals at the Johnson Space Center, and it was either dehydrated where you add water to it, things like spaghetti and meatballs. You would add water to that and let it soak in for a while and warm it up. And others were meals ready to eat that you would just put in an oven to warm up. Things like the lasagna and ravioli were like that. So yeah, the food was pretty good and very easy to make.
Any other questions? So if someone his age is interested in getting to be an astronaut sometime, any advice for young aspiring students?
Yeah, I think my advice for anybody wanting to be an astronaut or anything you're interested in doing is pursue it. And for the astronaut job and for a lot of the space jobs requires a background for the astronaut job anyway, requires a background in one of the STEM fields, engineering or science. But we have a wide range of people. You really study whatever you like and whatever you're interested in. Just to give you some examples, I'm an engineer. I flew in space with other engineers. I flew in space with military test pilots. I flew in space with people who had different occupations in the military. I flew in space with astronomers and an astrophysicist, and that might make sense. But I also flew in space with a geologist, a friend who really liked rocks, and he studied geology, and he became an astronaut. I flew in space with an oceanographer, my friend Megan MacArthur. She really liked fish and the ocean, and so she studied underwater stuff. She was a oceanographer. And then another example is my friend Rick Linehan, who was a veterinarian. He loved animals, so he wanted to become a veterinarian. He loved dolphins, and he worked with dolphins. But all those occupations, because they're science, engineering, math sort of related backgrounds, you're eligible to also become an astronaut. So you can kind of do whatever you like as long as it's in the STEM field if you're interested in becoming an astronaut. And I would say the same thing goes for anything you're interested in. Find out what you like. You know, you have a chance in school to try lots of different things. Don't lose that opportunity. You have lots of subjects that you're taking. Maybe some you like better than others, and that's okay. Think about the ones that you find more interesting, and those are the ones as you get older you can concentrate on. Right now, you know, when you're younger, in elementary school and junior high and also in high school, I think it's important and in college as well. It's always important to take a lot of stuff, but you know, what you're going to do for your job, you know, you should be, as you go on and on, think about what you like, and you can concentrate on that stuff. If you like math, or if you like building things, or if you like art, or if you like music, or whatever it might be, you know, be honest with yourself about what you like and pursue it, and then get ready to fail, because any time that you're pursuing something, trying to do something, you're going to have success, and you're also going to have failures, and you can't let those failures stop you. You're going to find things that are hard, and you got to keep going. So don't let disappointment stop you from doing what you want to do.
So, Mike, you start off as an engineer, is that correct?
That's correct.
So you actually guest starred in one of my favorite television shows, The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, good show.
And there was a scene with Howard going up into space, and he was an engineer that became an astronaut. Was there any relationship to your history in the creation of that character that you're aware of?
None that I've never been asked that question before, and I have no idea. The character that I played was me. So that was, I just played myself. So that was me. But the Howard Wolowitz thing, no, that came out of the ideas of the creators, very talented creators and writers with the Big Bang Theory.
Okay. So just briefly again, can you tell us again when we'll be able to see you on that Discovery Channel special?
Yeah, the Discovery Channel is going to be the broadcast of it's a live broadcast of the launch on Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, May 27th, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So adjust if you're Detroit on Eastern time. Remind me, is it still Eastern time in Detroit?
Eastern
or is it?
Time here in Detroit.
So 2 p.m. in Detroit, and adjust it at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. Please tune in.